Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing? Good? Excellent. It's a real pleasure to be here today. As Melanie said, I was a awardee in 2010, and so, gosh, I was in agricultural college at Tokau up in the Hunter Valley, and I was learning there and looking at what I was going to do in agriculture. And I think Melanie and I spoke a few weeks ago, and she said, I'll give an overview of what a farmer is today. And to be honest with you, I only know what I am today. I have so many friends in agriculture. I'm sure it was the same as you. Agriculture is huge. You can be a vet one day, a mechanic the next. You know, being a farmer is just so broad. And I don't think it's changed. I think when you were in agriculture, at the end of the day, you were keeping animals alive, growing grass or crops to feed the world. Farmer now feeds 600 people on average in Australia, 450 of those being overseas. We supply Australia with 95% of their of its food, and then the rest of our produce that we grow is exported. And it's absolutely amazing to go all over the world and see that our produce is everywhere and that Australia is at the forefront of agriculture. And I must thank you guys for getting us there. Because really, if you think about it, if you hadn't have come over into agriculture, I wouldn't be standing on agricultural land that is still viable, still able to be worked and farmed to feed the world. When I was given the opportunity to go to the UK through BBM, I was absolutely petrified. I cannot begin to fathom how it was for you guys. I knew I was going to come home. And you came to this country I don't know where everyone ended up, but you know, I knew I was going over to the UK for a couple of months and I was coming home to start my agricultural journey. And through my journey in the UK, I'm a beef cattle farmer now. When I left, I really didn't know what I wanted to be. I was a bit of a diesel junkie. I thought I'd be sitting on a header, you know, during summer, harvesting crops or whacking a plough in the ground here and there. But going to the UK really showed me the diversity of agriculture and what you can make viable. So I'm from the New South Wales Central Coast, so only an hour and a half it took me. So I'm between Sydney and Newcastle, and I run my own business, and I have been running my own business ever since the day I got back from the UK. And that's thanks to BBM. It's thanks to Britain, thanks to the UK for showing me that small farms can be viable and that there was an opportunity for me to put 6 properties together and manage them all and have a full-time job. I now consult to over 25 farms and manage 6 of them full-time. So that's what, as an image, as a young person going into agriculture from the coast, from a small farming area, I saw that I had to go out west. I had to go and be on one farm and make it big. But instead, from my journey, I saw this great opportunity to diversify my knowledge and farm where I knew how to farm. My parents weren't agriculturalists. They did own a small property and came from, and then it was just really ignited from going out over to the UK. I went to Scotland, Lockerbie there, and worked on a stud. I also went to Wales and worked at a bull milking facility. So I harvested sperm for about 2 weeks, and that is shipped all over the world. I saw genetics from the UK going to Canada, Australia, and that is where agriculture is now. And that there is no boundary. It is just, we are worldwide. And every day I think about those things, and I was just saying to Melanie before that I've recently come back from South Africa on a scholarship I got through the Royal Agricultural Societies. And one of the greatest things was that there were representatives from all over the Commonwealth, and I had something in common with the people from Wales England and Scotland, and it was all because of BBN. And so it just keeps going. It's incredible, and I think what I found, I was in South Africa, and I was sitting on this mule cart with a South African countryman who really couldn't speak much English at all, and I sat next to him for nearly an hour and a half. This man doesn't own a car, so his transport to town once a year is a 3-hour mule ride to town and 3 hours back. And they go there once a year. They still grind their own flour in a stone. And agriculture was a language we both understood. We sat next to each other. We couldn't understand what we were saying, but we understood what we meant. We were able to point at different crops, different animals, and know what we wanted to portray. Knew that we knew each other, and that's an incredible thing. Is anyone still on the land? No? You got out. It's not a good sign for me.
No, it was very successful, and then they moved on.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've had some incredible opportunities and experiences because I've, in a way, forged my own path in agriculture, not from a farming background. And a lot of people at the moment, Total Agricultural College, I would say, has about a 40% enrolment of people that aren't from an agricultural background. Wow. But for some reason they've got this want to be a farmer in their blood. And so I've been able to, through the last 7 years of running my business, I've had a lot of representative roles through rural achievers and going out and speaking to people about the opportunities in agriculture. And before I said, you know, you're a mechanic, you're a vet, you're a salesman at any given day, and you've got to work out all these things. But then again, agriculture encompasses all those people as well. We're huge. We've got importers bringing tractors and machinery into Australia, and I think it's just incredible that, you know, that's still going, and it's still the path, and we're only getting more modern, and there's even more people involved in agriculture with technologies that are coming through. But at the end of the day, we've still got people on the ground that are farming like it has been done before. And sustainability at the moment is the word that's on the tip of everyone's tongue. And to me, sustainability is really what was achieved and will be achieved, because we have farmland still that I believe every farmer, when they own their own country, or they're going into country, or even if they manage it, their end goal is to leave that farm better than what it was when you walked in there.
Is this all grass fed, or is this in
Yeah, so I'm very lucky, and this is sort of one of my pitch points. We own my partner and I, we own a branded beef as well. So I buy cattle off the farms I manage, and we sell our beef directly to the public, and it's all grass fed because we have 1.2 metres of rain every year. And so one of our big things is, and you would have seen through the times, you farm to your abilities and your land's abilities. So at home we do have grass all year round, and we're really lucky to have that. So we're able to finish cattle on grass.
And make hay, I suppose.
And make it, well, interestingly enough, I'm the first contractor in the area to start making hay and silage, because we're so close to the Hunter. A lot of people buy forage from the Hunter Valley, and I thought, gee, we have a lot of grass we waste during summer, and you start looking back at those trips around the world, and everyone else makes forage in much harsher climates than we have here at home. And so yeah, that's this is my first season of doing that, and then it didn't rain and there was no grass, and we're farming again. Nothing's perfect, but yeah.
Is it all one breed? Is it Angus?
So we mainly have British cows, so there'll be an Angus Pole Hereford cross, or Black Baldy, and then we try and use European bulls over those British cattle. Just to get that hybrid vigour and getting that sort of that better yield out of them, because we find there's a few Simmentals around as well. Yeah, so we mainly use Limousin or Charolais bulls, and but black cattle are definitely the flavour of the century. So
for Maccas.
yeah, exactly. So Angus is a very safe option for a lot of people, and yeah. So for me, farming's every day, and it will be forever, I hope. And as I sort of pointed to before, I recently had our vintage tractor club out to our farm. And I'm a member of the Vintage Tractor Club, and I've got my own. I've got my own TE20, and I invited the Vintage Tractor Club out to plough one of our paddocks that we're about to put into watermelons. And I saw these tractors, and I was talking to the fellas, and they've all come from farms. There's an old Chamberlain there, and I was so proud of these tractors because they'd forged our agricultural history. And one of my biggest passions is bridging the gap between rural and urban Australia.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really big issue at the moment, and a great challenge for agriculture to start to understand urban society. Because a lot of the time we're told they don't understand, we say, you know, as farmers, we say, oh, they don't understand us, they don't care. And I often think that it's actually us, we don't understand them, so we can't expect to be understood if we don't understand our urban friends that eat our food. So
Fonterra's just taken over Mary Goulburn, so I don't know how that's going.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing with agriculture, it is so broad. We've got so many industries, and we're not experts at all of them. And so my future goals in agriculture is to open a farm that portrays different varieties or different ways of farming. So I would like to exhibit feedlotting, grass-fed cattle, so people can make a conscious decision. I think many years ago, everyone had an uncle or a friend or someone on a farm, and they were able to go back there and get their engagement with agriculture and where their food comes from. And I hope to open that uncle or friend's farm for people to access and see and become more engaged in what we've all worked towards, which is feeding the world. Yeah. Is there any questions? Yeah?
Hey Dave, Kendall.
Good
You're
day.
obviously a good speaker. I'd like to know how and why you were selected.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, okay. So I got, I must say I was pushed to go for the scholarship. Cultural College, they said, Tim, we'd really like to put you forward for this. So it's changed a fair bit, the selection criteria. So I was at college still, so I hadn't started my career. And I really personally believe that I was picked for the benefits that it would give to me, but also this trip would give back to Australia once I returned. I'd gotten ducks at Tocal as well, so I topped my year. And I showed potential, but then it goes to there's a Big Brother recommender, and then they put you forward, and then but now it goes to a much larger panel and you go through a lot more screening. But yeah, it was mainly for the potential that I could grasp. Yeah.
What was the grant? How much did you receive?
I believe mine was $8,000. Yeah.
For how many? For how
So minimum of 2 months it was.
2 months.
Yeah, I think a maximum of 6.
Oh, we don't tend to put a maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, for me it was
Yeah.
2 months minimum, and now I often
Did
think.
you have to organise everything? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great opportunities of this. Travel ships where you're given a lot of guidance, or you go there with a group and you travel for a few weeks or something like that. And being self-guided is part of the growing opportunity. It's to make mistakes, it's to go to the wrong farm, it's to feel uncomfortable, but also to stumble on great things as well. To be in areas that No one's ever said, hey, you should go there. You just end up there because I was into the stud cattle game a lot, so I loved showing cattle. And so I went to a lot of breed societies, and they've got great networks all over the world. And so I accessed those sorts of people, and then that just grew and grew and grew because they want to introduce you to the neighbour, and then you never know where you're going to end up. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.